Good morning, honorable councillors. Let me take this opportunity to welcome you all to this last sitting of our council. Let me start by acknowledging the executive mayor, the deputy executive mayor, the council whip, members of the mayoral committee, chairpersons of council standing committees, the whips of different parties, and all councillors present here today, members of the media and the public out there. You are heartily acknowledged. Just for record purposes, we are 58 in attendance, therefore we have a quorum. I want us to observe a moment of silent contemplation for meditation and prayers so that we may proceed with our sitting. Let's observe that moment of silence, please. Thank you. Let me acknowledge you as well, HOD Khamanyani. We are now on item 195, notice of the meeting. This meeting is convened as per the notice that was given in terms of the provisions of section 29, subsection 1 of the Local Government Municipal Structures Act of 1998, Act number 117 as amended, and Rule 5.1 of the Council Standing Rules and Orders that a special meeting of the Metropolitan Municipal Council be convened on the time and date specified on our notice. We are therefore meeting here pursuant to that, to those provisions. May I now step off this item and proceed to item 196, applications for leaves. That has been done administratively. I have received a few apologies from councillors who are unable to be part of us today. In total, I have about 13 apologies. Most of them are from the economic freedom fighters. Some are from the Democratic Alliance. And generally other councillors. May I now proceed to item 197, which deals with the acceptance of the agenda. The agenda is on the notice. Can I see hands? Just before that, let me, okay, Councillor Kotze.
Thank you, Speaker. I would just like to bring the following to your attention. Thank you very much. The notice was in time, but unfortunately, the link that was sent to us, some of our councillors were unable to access that link to get the documentation. And we know it's a challenge to get all the hard copies to all the councillors, so I'm just bringing that to your attention. If your office can maybe just assist us so that all councillors have access to that link when we receive the notification. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, Councillor Kotze. That has been duly recorded. Councillor Martins.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. We appreciate. We just have a suggestion to save some time. Would it be possible to perhaps deal with items 200.5 and 200.6 as one item? Thank you.
And you have noted that, Council Whip.
Yeah, Honorable Speaker, thank you very much and greetings to honorable councillors present today. Can I humbly, Honorable Speaker, before we can adopt the agenda of the council, can we request a 5 minutes caucus with the whips of different political parties? Just for 5 minutes and then we'll come back and finalize the.
Thank you. The time is 10:12. If we can be back by 10:20, the caucus is granted.
Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, thank you. May we be seated, please, so that we can proceed. We were on item 197. May I now grant the council whip the opportunity to report back to the House. Council whip.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Once more, Speaker, we would like to report to the council on the following, in terms of the agenda before it can be approved. I think on item 205 and 6, there was already a proposal that those two items, they must be combined and become one item. And we agreed on that. On item 201.4, we have noted that the councillor, the PR councillor from the Democratic Alliance, who supposedly to be introduced or rather deal with the item on the replacement, he had already been acknowledged by this August House in our previous council meeting, and therefore would propose that this report will just be noted as such, and then there cannot be discussion on it. And then on item 201.5, on the item for the recess for councillors for the December-January 2025 festive season, we also noted that there will be only one speaker on it, and then that speaker will be from the Freedom Front. And then on item 202, reports of the MPEC, it has also been proposed that item 202.1 and 2 and point 2, meaning that 1 and 2 of 202 must also be combined and become one item. And further to that, Honorable Speaker, we have also agreed that in all the items, as much as we know that particular political parties, especially the ANC and the Democratic Alliance, and other political parties, the EFF as well, they might have prepared maybe more than one speaker on the item. We therefore agreed that it will be only one speaker per item from each political party, if there are any. And then on an item that perhaps maybe, let me say, the first speaker would make a proposal that will need to be seconded. Then the second person will just stand up and second, not to make another speech. So that all of these, Honorable Speaker and honorable members of the House, it is on the basis of the current situation and the condition that we find ourselves. We acknowledge the fact that there's a problem with the aircons, and in order for us to avoid people being dehydrated because of the conditions that we find ourselves in, we rather do justice to the business of the council, but unfortunately not allow many speakers to speak. And that is what has been proposed, Honorable Speaker. And with that saying, Honorable Speaker, I therefore move for the adoption of the council agenda with the changes that has been proposed by multi-party whippery. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Council Whip. May I notice the following hands: Councillor Davis, Councillor Sibulao, Councillor Kotze, in that order.
Oh, before that, Speaker.
Just before that,
Before that, Speaker, I was just made aware now also that on item 201 as well, 1 and 2 can also be one item. The benchmarking Buffalo City and the report on the implementation on approval on the internal policy. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Davis.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I just want to ask on item 202, if 1 can stay separate and then 2 and 3 be combined, because 2 and 3 is in relation with the annual report.
Okay, noted. Councillor Sobolao.
No, Chair, thank you very much. I wanted to second the proposal with its amendment.
Thank you. Councillor Kotze.
Thank you, Speaker. I'm trying to prevent a confusion today regarding the agenda. We had a Section 80 committee meeting on Monday, and I refer your attention to item 200.1. Because of some of the information that was not made available to the committee, the chairperson said that this item will not be serving in council today. I just want clarity on that. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
What item is that?
For the Speaker, 200.1.
Okay. Councillor Van Noort.
Honourable Speaker, yes, just on that suggested combination of 201.1 and 2, I don't think that is a feasible combination, so I want to reject that, please.
No, councillors, you are confusing me now.
They are not related to one another, so they need to be dealt with separately, according to my view.
I thought the whips caucus
If it's a whips, then it's fine. Sorry for that. Okay. Thank you. I withdraw then. Thank you.
Councillor Foster.
Thank you, Speaker. Speaker, no, the whips did not decide on 201.1 and 2 to be combined. That is two separate reports, so we cannot combine those two.
All right, I'm not going to entertain additional suggestions. I will only take what the whips have proposed, because that has been seconded. Otherwise, we're going to confuse the House. Council Whip.
Yeah, Speaker, in addition to everything that has been indicated, I think one thing that perhaps maybe we also suggested, we noted that from time to time there will be point of orders in the August House, and it's procedural. But we just want to caution the House that let them not be, at least if we have point of order, let it be under circumstances that all of us think it is in the best interest of the August House, not unless because we want to interrupt each other when speaking, so that we minimize the point of orders during the proceeding of the House. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Councillor De Bruin.
Yes, Speaker. Before we are going to accept the agenda, I just want to bring it under your attention, or under the attention of the fellow councillors. I think it's unfair to pay the upgrades before you even given us trade of tools now for 6 months. Thank you.
Yeah, I think Councillor De Bruin has got a point there. City Manager, may we attend to Councillor De Bruin's point? He has been in office for 6 months and he has not been allocated a laptop. Okay, you've got 6 now. All the councillors that are speaking, they are prepared to give you their laptops. Councillor Kruger,
Speaker?
are you prepared to share a laptop with Councillor De Bruin?
No, I just wanted to remind the Honourable De Bruin that he should have taken the laptop of his predecessor, Councillor Kevin. So that's how it works. There's no new laptops.
Sorry, Speaker.
Councillor Diko.
They said that laptop was for the MMCs, not for council. So
Okay.
that's why I can't use that one. But she must remember we are in GNU, so you need to give me tools of trade. Thank you.
Councillor Verviers. Councillor Verviers, your hand was up. Okay. Councillors, I think the agenda stands adopted because there was a second. Can I just by show of hands?
Point of clarity, Speaker.
Okay, Councillor Kotze.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. There was a request just for clarity on item 200.1 from the MMC. Because she stated in the committee meeting that the item will not serve today because there was not information given to the committee. And that item will not serve today. I just want clarity on that from the MMC. Thank you, Speaker.
Is there that structure is the Sandlex structure, not Mangaung structure.
Mr. Speaker, just to give clarity, the microstructure, I said 200.1, not 200.1. The microstructure was not added to the documentation that was made available. And that was the reason why she said that the item will not serve today. She even preferred to the city manager did not give us all the information. Thank you.
Any councillor from that section 80 or the whip of that committee, Councillor Tugula?
Thanks, Speaker. The item that was not on the agenda of section 80 corporate, it was the structure of MA, not this, not the chief 60, but it was the structure of MM. That is why MMC agreed that it's not going to be served in this council for today. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you. Councillors, the agenda stands adopted. May I now proceed, Councillor Davis?
Mr. Speaker, sorry. Then just for clarity, can we just then go through the agenda again, what is now combined and what, please?
Let's quickly go do that exercise. On item 201, 200 years. Item 5 and 6 is combined. And then on item 201, item 1 and 2, come on. Sorry? Item 1 and 2 is combined. Council Whip, on item 201.
Can I, on item 200, Speaker, 5 and 6 are combined. And on item 201, number 4, there won't be any discussions on it. Number 5, only Freedom Front will have a say on it. I'll go to what we have discussed inside there. And item 202, number 1 and number 2, which is the MPEC benchmarking visit to eThekwini, and then and also because the feedback, I think councillors, they put it correctly. I mean, number 1 can go alone, and then 2 and 3 will be combined because they are dealing with annual report. And then, was it 2 and 2 and again? Yeah, I said also, Speaker, that we are advised that on 201, the Buffalo City and the structure, I mean the internal policy for capacity building, must also be 1. That was the advice that I got inside, but it's fine. We can leave it as it is. No, let's leave everything as it is, Speaker, except what I've indicated. Can I repeat again for the last time? 200, 5 and 6, 1 item. 201, 4, it's only, there won't be discussion on it. 5, only Freedom Front will speak on it. Item, report on the MPEC, 1 alone. 2 and 3, 1 item. And then we are done. So further to that, 1 speaker per political party. Oh, thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. I trust that we now know what items will be discussed and what items are combined. I'm not going to repeat that, councillors.
Speaker, point of order. Speaker, if the MMC, as requested by my colleague regarding point 200.1, is not going to withdraw the item as requested in the Section 80 committee, the DA request for a brief caucus meeting. Thank you.
No, Councillor, I'm not going to allow that. We have established a procedure and we are following on the procedure proposed by the whips.
Point of order.
Okay, go ahead, Councillor.
Speaker, my colleague did request for a caucus by the DA. Can we please have a 10-minute caucus? Thank you.
All right, I'm going to grant you a caucus. It's 10:41. If you can be back by 10:55. Caucus granted.
Ikenanin, Hosan. Ikenanin tomorrow.
No, we're not surprised by that.
Thank you. Thank you, councillors. Can we be settled? Let me allow Councillor Kotze the opportunity to brief the meeting. Thank you. Go ahead, Councillor Kotze.
Thank you, Speaker. We as a DA wish for the council meeting to continue. So you can go ahead for the acceptance of the agenda. And we just quickly had a strategy session because of all the items that had to be combined. Thank you.
Thank you. We are now good to go. The agenda stands adopted. I just need to give you a strategy. It's a secret. Don't use it in the next meeting. It is only for the purpose of this meeting. If you want to finish on time, most of the items are for noting. So you may not want to engage in lengthy discussions on an item that is for noting. If you have additional information or have suggestions, you can simply say, I have a Rule 38, I will submit Rule 38. Let's move on to the next item. That's the secret only for today. I don't know whether you are amenable to that strategy or not, but 80% of items are for noting. So when we get to a noting item, simply say, I have a Rule 38, I will submit it in due course, let's move on. Can we now proceed to item 198, just on a quick one, Rule 53 of Council Standing Rules and Orders on the dress code. I will make an exception, but there are few councillors here who are too informal for the gathering. Councillor Kondile, Councillor Lechoko, Councillor Peter, Councillor Supi. You councillors are just too informal in terms of that Rule 53.2 of our dress code. I will make an exception for today. Councillor Sokaka on announcements.
Thank you, Speaker. Let me take this. Thank you, Deputy Executive Mayor Whip of Council. I just want to make this announcement of this ongoing problem that is visited the city and is causing havoc and problems of misinformation around it, which in the view of the Executive Mayor is that we must speak about it. Speaker, there is a problem of water in the city. And this challenge of water, really, it is a big problem, which we are alive to it. And we know that there are some areas that are hard hit by this problem of water. In particular, the high-lying areas, Pentagon, Havelseg, Rocklands, and portion of Langhoven Park, some of it. We have been meeting with Val Central in trying to get to the bottom of this issue. Fortunately, the Executive Mayor elevated the issue, Speaker, that there is a multi-discipline committee that is meeting every day at 7 o'clock in the morning, which is led by the Deputy Minister of Water and Sanitation, Tate Mahlobo, and other deputy ministers and the DG and the Premier, the MEC of Kokta and Mangaung, of course, to look for everlasting solution to this problem. But in the meantime, we have resolved that we are going to do what is called water rationalization. It simply means at certain intervals, in particular at night, excluding the hospitals, we are going to switch off water to allow reservoir levels to go up. Because really, we are taking a very serious strain. Yesterday, when we checked, most of these reservoirs were at 0. The issue of Massport, we know that we are busy doing the work there at Massport, which is affecting us. Massport is not at its high level in terms of pumping water, in particular for the northern side. Hence, we requested also Val Central to provide water tanks in some of the areas. However, I must acknowledge, Speaker, that we had to brought in again higher learning institutions, which came handy, I must say. Maybe through the adjustment budget, some of the line items, in particular the University of Free State, they have given us a very good solution which require funding, whilst we are engaging also national on the issue of funding. So I felt that it is important that I must announce this issue, that we are dealing with it. Right now, maybe today, it will be a last day of rationalization because we are looking for the long weekend to accommodate those that will be enjoying themselves for the long weekend so that we are able to pass through, but steadily we'll get there. That is the announcement. Thank you. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, Councillor De Bruin and Councillor Tsuledi. Councillor De Kock.
Yes, thank you, Speaker.
Councillor Kotze, you'll be the,
Speaker.
you'll be followed by Councillor De Hayes.
Yes, Speaker, we just want to bring it under your attention. Our residents in different areas are very unhappy with the cutting off of water now in the festive season. If it's possible, can we deal with this matter by next year? Because everyone needs water now. And I mean through, without notice to a person and go and cut his water, it's very unfair. Because there were some meters that the previous contractors take out without concerns. So now they want to cut their water. So please just look after that. And then secondly, we are happy for the 2 swimming pools that you fix. But just look, our poorest to the poorest children don't have all that money to pay at this moment. And it's very, very hot outside. Can you bring the tariff down just for the holiday? Salute.
Thank you, Councillor Tsuledi.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Let me observe the protocol. Honorable Speaker, the Department of Public Safety and Transport, together with the Department of Community Safety, the Provincial Department of Community Safety, have launched a Safer City campaign. This campaign has declared zero tolerance to lawlessness in the city. The department will be putting more traffic officers on the road, more law enforcement officers in the city, and that will be 24 hours in the streets of Mangaung. We are requesting the citizens to join in this campaign that seeks to promote a safer city this festive season. We also want to caution the motorists that they must obey the traffic laws of the city, otherwise drastic measures will be taken. There is a dedicated line that the department has declared in terms of reporting of the crimes and also the disaster management, Speaker, that will be circulated around all the WhatsApp groups and also in our interviews that we'll be having throughout the festive season. Honorable Speaker, let me also take this moment to congratulate the HOD of my department, HOD Israel Khamanyane, for having received his master's degree in administration on Monday in the University of the Free State. This is the second master's degree that the HOD has next to his name. The first one he received in 2019 with the University of Free State, which was the master's in forensic investigation. On behalf of this institution, would really wish him well and would also want him to fly away and get a better one than this one. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Congratulations, HOD Khamanyane. Councillor Tsuledi, I'm sure you would also want to encourage councillors to pay their traffic fines so that you avoid asking a difficult question when you are faced with a traffic cop situation. At least you don't have to say, do you know who I am? Councillor de Kock.
Thank you, Speaker. We as the Freedom Front Plus would like to announce that residents from all spheres in Mangaung insisted that we act on the current water crisis in Mangaung. On account thereof, the Freedom Front Plus requested the Human Rights Commission to investigate matters leading to the Metro's inability to secure access to clean water to affected communities. Wepener, the Wetsdorp and Soutpan are without water and without answers. We also do not have to reiterate all the other areas in Bloemfontein, Botshabelo and Tabanshu that are also left without water. Every year during December, we are faced with the same scenario. Every year, we are left speechless. We also want to announce that we requested in writing that the Section 80 Committee for Infrastructure must convene a meeting in order to give a voice to the residents of Mangaung via the elected councillors and to be able to give answers to all constituents of Mangaung. We also announced that to date, we have not even received acknowledgement of receipt for this request. We announced that we are grateful to have secured an appointment with the mayor. We would be grateful if we could be able to secure the same with the city manager. Can we also request that water rationing times must please be reconsidered? Most residents work during the day. They go to work not having water. They come home to no water. When must they wash? Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, Councillor. Welcome, Councillor Mota. You are a true example of arrive alive, better late than never. Thank you, Councillor Kotze.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I've been a councillor now for 10 years. And for the past decade, every year, the residents of Mangaung is struggling with water during the festive season. Mr. Speaker, I refer you to Section 27 of the Constitution. And I also outline Section 152 of the Constitution. Services must be delivered. I want to ask the question, when will the Human Rights Commission report serve in this council? Keep in mind, you only have 3 months to report back to the Human Rights Commission. The time is ticking. Mr. Speaker, this month, on the 19th, this municipality will be under Section 139 administration for 5 years now. And we are worse off. What did the ANC do for the past 5 years? Every time we hear about the renewal policy, now we're gonna fix everything. The ANC is unable to fix themselves. And you know why? Because, if you remember, during the American campaign, Donald Trump always said, the deep state. Now the deep state of South Africa is known as Lethuli House. The city manager and the HODs are now appointed for a year in their new positions. Last year, this time, in his absence, Councillor Peter Lottridge says, when I hear the people's names, I just see red flags. And here we are now. We have another crisis that needs to be managed. I want to extend my heartfelt gratitude to civil society organizations and neighborhood associations for stepping in where the Metro has fallen short. And I want to conclude, to my fellow DA councillors, you have truly been servants of the people, acting as call center agents, disaster managers, water engineers and problem solvers, while the ANC continues to shift blame. Hold your heads high, for you have demonstrated that we consistently outperform the ANC and remain steadfast in our commitment to making Mangaung great again. I wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor De Hayes.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, the Council Whip, Honorable Councillors of Mangaung. We like to announce as the EFF that we are having the third NPA starting today until the 15th. We like to wish all the delegates well, Honorable Councillors, and the conference will be live. You are free to watch and take notes there and there. As the economic freedom fighters, we are the organization that is growing, whether you like it or not. Whether media can name us or do whatever, but we are standing strong as the EFF. Sure. And we also like to wish all those who are still going to the ANC, the DA, the MK, all the best. We don't need them. Yeah. We like to say to the leadership that will be elected, all the best, because they will bring the change in South Africa. As we all know that the economic freedom fighters, we are fighting for the poor of the poorest. I thank you very much, Speaker.
Thank you. Thank you, Councillors. I think this brings us to the end of the discussion on announcement. May we now proceed to item 199. That item has been dealt with administratively, is declaration of interest. May I allow the Deputy Executive Mayor to present items on reports of the Executive Mayor.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, City Manager and the team, all councillors that are here today to our last council meeting of the year. It's really bad, Speaker, when our people have a crisis of not having water. We are coming to this council and have political speech to gain score for the benefit of these people of Mangaung. I think Honorable Vusiso Xhaka put a very clear report in this council of what is happening on the issue of water. Our duty as honorable councillors is to make sure that we deal with the matter that is in front of us. Because our people outside there, they don't want to hear about the head office of political party, of certain political party. What they want to hear from us, what are we resolving with this crisis that we have of water? I'm really disappointed of what Councillor Kotze just indicate in this council today. I just want to really, honorable councillors, wish you all a very happy Christmas and prosperous year that ahead of us, 2025. As we bid farewell to this year of 2024, I hope you continue to succeed and work together to accomplish great things and to achieve the goals that we want, all of us from different political parties, for the benefit of the community of Mangaung. May 2025 bring our team as councillors the opportunity to succeed and to work together and unite for us to make sure that we deal with issues that our community raised to us as united as we are. Honorable Speaker, I believe that really we won't drink and drive. Whatever that will go
will go safe, and they will also spread what Honorable Tsuledi said to us, to our community, that they must be careful and they must behave when they drive to our roads. In those words, Honorable Speaker, I just want to table the following item. Item 200.1, item 200.2, item 200.3, item 200.4, combine item 5 and 6 in this council for discussion and for noting. There are honorable councillors that will be engaged on this particular item. Thank you very much. I then table these items. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Deputy Executive Mayor. Chairs, councillors. Can I acknowledge hands of councillors who would want to speak on item 1? It is an item for noting, just bear that in mind. Councillor Kotze, Councillor Botma, Councillor Kotze and Councillor Botma, there was a proposal which emanated from the interaction between the whips, that on an item only one councillor per political party. So I will only acknowledge one honorable councillor per political party on an item.
Mr. Speaker, can you just give clarity?
Okay. It's fine. I will allow Councillor Botma to speak. Councillor Dennis, are you fine?
Yes, thank you. I just wanted to bring that under your attention. Thank
you. Go ahead, Councillor Botma.
Mr. Speaker, I draw first.
Okay, go ahead, Councillor.
Is that in order? Thank you. Mr. Speaker, I don't want to waste time, but I've already iterated why we asked clarity on the item to be tabled today. And it was clearly stated in the committee meeting, and everybody there agreed, even the whip of that committee, that this item will not serve today because of information that was not made available by the city manager. So I would like to reiterate that in the Section 80 committee, everybody comes together and say, no, let's go ahead. But when we get to the council meeting, the chairperson of that committee says, we're not going to listen to you. We only go in the ANC way. So therefore, I needed to be minuted that we cannot trust the chairperson of that committee. And therefore, I request that this item be referred back. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Councillor Botma.
Thank you, Speaker. Yes, I second the recommendation of Councillor Kotze.
Thank you. There's a second, Councillor Tukula.
No, Speaker, it's not a second. I'm not seconding.
Okay.
I'm going to be the speaker on this item.
Proceed, Councillor Tukula.
Thank you very much, Speaker. Greetings to you, House Chair, Dr. Bongani Lawrence Matai. All protocol observed. Item 200.1, submission of the minimum level of the service agreement, essential services and shift system for council for notice. We request the council to consider these two documents that has been concluded in the LLF, which are intended to improve employer and employee relationship, including increasing capacity of the employees to improving the service delivered. Both Mangaung Metropolitan Municipality and St. Lake recognize the significance of the having this minimum service level agreement on essential services, not only as a legal requirement, but as an important instrument of corporate governance, which aims at ensuring that Mangaung Metro and Sentlek are meeting the minimum required service levels of essential services. It is an agreement to ensure continuous service delivery that operate 24/7. We therefore recommend that the Council takes note of the LLF agreement, which has been concluded in full compliance with the Essential Service Committee CCMA guidelines, and this marks a significant milestone for both the employer and employees of MM. It is a testament to the commitment, dedication, and cooperative spirit demonstrated by all parties in the LLF. The minimum service level agreement, essential service and shift system agreements are product of the collective agreements, which are demonstration of the constructive approach to labor relations in MMM. The Mangaung Metro Municipal Council should commend itself for the role it has played in fostering an environment that supports the promotion of collective bargaining within the metro. These agreements are not only significant legal and operational milestones, but also serve a strong symbol of unity and common purpose that underpins our commitment to the public service, both legally and political standpoint. The accounting officer should implement a training program, focus on equipping employees with the necessary skill to operate efficiently within the new shift system and meet the requirements of MSLA. This training should include technical skills, customer care service, and health and safety protocol. That in terms of minimum service agreement signed by both parties, total number of employees that must be at work during strike must be 60 to 40. I thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, Councillors. This brings us to the end of the debate on this matter. Let me first deal with the first proposal, which was seconded, that the item be deferred back. Can I see hands of those?
Point of clarity.
Okay, go ahead, Councillor.
Sorry, Speaker, I know it's hot, but the last speaker just mentioned the Sentlek microstructure. He just spoke about it. The Sentlek microstructure, and that's item 200.3. He just mentioned it. We can go and listen to the recordings. He just mentioned it.
Thank you.
That is why we asked for the item to be referred back. Because even the whip doesn't know what's going on.
Thank you, Councillor. I have noted what you say. Can I see hands of those who are in favor of the proposal to refer the matter back? Thank you. Those who are against the proposal for the item to be deferred back? Thank you. Abstentions? Thank you. Those in favor of the proposal is 22. Those who are against is 44, and 7 abstentions. May I now see hands of those who are in favor of the recommendations as they are? Oh, no, sorry, may you lower your hands, councillors. The item will therefore be carried as it is because it is for noting. May we then proceed to item 2? Can I see hands of those who would want to speak on this item? Councillor Dennis, Councillor Tugula, Councillor Verviers, in that order. Go ahead, Councillor.
Mr. Speaker, I've actually just have one request, and that is that we please have the names and contact numbers of the officials that are going to be on duty for those specific days. It is really difficult if you have a lot of complaints from your community and there is nobody answering you. So we'll appreciate if they can make it available as soon as possible. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councillor. That has been noted. Councillor Tugula.
Thank you very much, Speaker. Item 202 on performance of municipal service on the 27th and 31 December 2024. We submit this item to obtain permission to have a skeleton staff on the duty on the 27th and 31st of December 2024 in order to perform non-essential municipal services. The human resource inquiries from employees on whether the 27th and 31st of December 2024 will be a working days for municipal staff as they are planning for the festive holidays. So we recommend that the department be given permission to utilize skeleton limited staff to perform non-essential municipal service on the 27th and 31st of December 2024 by utilizing one half of the component of the work on the 27th December 2024 and the other half on the 31st December 2024. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, Councillor Verviers.
Thank you, Speaker. I will keep it short but not sweet, soos hulle sê in Afrikaans, kort en kragtig. The Freedom Front Plus appreciates the proactive approach in preparing for the upcoming festive season. The current water crisis that is affecting the entire of Mangaung during a heat wave is, however, raising big concerns because for 2 weeks there are no progress and no proper communication or proper feedback, and that with full operational staff. If this problem persists, we as councillors have no confidence in the current ruling party because even with a full staff, essential services are being neglected. If we don't get provided with a list of contact details for the officials, we will give the MICO members contact numbers to the residents. Ons gaan met rooi gesigte sit, want ons gaan besoekers kry van ander dorpe en ons is 'n Mangaung metro. So dit is eintlik 'n vernedering. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, Councillor. Did you raise your hand, Councillor? O batla gore le ge o ka itima metsi tla bona eno.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed colleagues and Honorable Speaker, we stand before you to discuss a pressing matter that affects us all. The request by employee to have a skeleton staff on the 27th and 31st December 2024 has sparked a debate that warrants careful consideration. On one hand, having a skeleton staff on these days can have several benefits. Firstly, it can help reduce operational costs, as fewer employees will be required to report for duty. Secondly, it can provide an opportunity for employees to take a well-deserved break, spend quality time with their loved ones. Thirdly, it can also help reduce traffic congestion and promote a safer working environment. However, on the other hand, These are also several drawbacks to consider. Firstly, having skeleton staff can compromise the delivery of essential services, which can have far-reaching consequences for our community. Secondly, it can also create additional workload for employees who are required to report for duty, which can lead to a burnout and decreased productivity. Thirdly, it can also impact our ability to respond to emergencies and provide critical services. As we weigh the pros and cons, it is essential that we consider the needs and concerns of all stakeholders. Many employees have family commitments and need to spend quality time with their loved ones during the holiday season. However, we must also ensure that our communities receive the service they need and deserve. In light of these considerations, I propose that we adopt a flexible approach that balances the needs of employees with the needs of our communities. We can explore options such as staggered leave, flexible working hours, remote work arrangements to ensure that our employees can spend quality time with their families while also ensuring our community receiving the services they need. In conclusion, the request by employees to have a skeleton staff on the 27th and 31st December 2024 present both opportunities and challenges. As we move forward, let us work together to find a solution that balances the need for all skeletons and promotes a positive and productive work environment. As the EFF, we for a well-productive working environment and healthy mental state of employees. Therefore, we see skeleton staff on the proposed date as to offer our employees. Thank you very much, Speaker.
Thank you. This brings us to the end of the debate on this item.
Speaker, I'm just rising on on rule 37.1 very quickly.
Okay, go ahead.
Speaker, thank you, Speaker. Wednesday 25 December and Wednesday 1 January falls on public holidays, which usually means that waste will not be removed. This means that Wednesday areas in the south will not be removed, in the north, will not be removed from 19 December until 8 January, which will be 20 days. That waste will be standing in people's yards, that it will not be removed in the Wednesday areas. So I have asked the HOD 3 weeks ago to give us the plans. What is the plan so that the neighborhood associations can plan and the councillors can inform the neighborhoods what is going to happen with the waste that will not be removed for 3 weeks. Is there other plans? Will there be changes to the schedule? So if we can please just get clarity on that, please, Speaker.
Thank you. Councillor, Deputy Executive.
No, thank you very much, Speaker. You know, sometimes, Speaker, some of the things doesn't need for us to bring them in the council. That is why I think we bring the same item here to the council, is to make sure issues like Councillor Devald mentioned here, the department will sit down and make a schedule where we'll submit those schedules to honorable councillors that what exactly they are going to do in those days that there will be holidays. Thank you very much, Speaker.
Thank you. I think your point has been noted, Councillor van der Walt. We will like the relevant MMC Jonas to take note of what you have just raised here so that we can circumvent any recurrence of waste not being collected on those specified dates. May I now see hands of those who are in favor of the item as proposed here? Or the item is for noting? Thank you. The item stands noted by this meeting. May I now proceed to item 3. Councillor Sokaka, Councillor. Oh, okay. Yeah, I think that item needs to be voted for. It needs approval. Thank you for bringing that to our attention. Let's revert back to that item, councillors. Can I see hands of those who are in favor of those recommendations? Because those recommendations require an approval from this House. Thank you very much. The House at large supports the recommendations. Thank you. May we proceed to item 3? Councillor Sokaka. Let me start with Councillor Conrad Cronje. Any other hand? You'll be the last, Councillor Sokaka. Councillor De Hayes, after Councillor Cronje, then Councillor Sokaka will be the last. Thank you. Go ahead, Councillor Cronje.
Thank you, Speaker. I will be brief and try to summarize my speech as quickly as possible. Speaker and Executive Mayor, as well as councillors, Mangaung has faced persistent challenges regarding the upkeep and maintenance of our infrastructure, a direct result of poor management, unfilled vacancies, and a lack of competent personnel to steer the ship. We recognize the importance of addressing these issues and the necessity of a robust organizational structure, but the manner in which this matter is being handled raises now significant concerns. This document is dated the 26th of July, and it reflects decisions approved that are being made in the period of December 23 until July 24. It is today the 12th of December, and it is presented at the very last council meeting of the year. Implementing this structure carries a significant financial implication. Every position entails a salary, placing further strain on Centlec's long-term sustainability, a concern already flagged as critical. The Auditor General consistently highlights a 67% vacancy rate, but yet this document provides no actionable plan to address or to rectify this issue. There is also no due diligence in place or a strategy to resolve these glaring gaps. Speaker, presenting such a substantial document to Council without thorough review and expecting it to be noted is not in line with good governance from Centlec. The DA is not opposed to the creation of a microstructure or the appointment of critical positions. However, proper protocol must be followed, and this Council must exercise its oversight responsibility. We know Centlec is an organisation on its own, but this municipality must do oversight on state-owned companies. Therefore, the DA recommends the following. 1, that this item be referred to the relevant Section 80 Chairperson or Committee for further deliberation with the Board of Directors of Centlec. This must be done in collaboration, possible, with the Sitting of its Finance and Technical Services to consider all relevant issues highlighted. 2, that the document, once reviewed, being brought back to Council with either a recommendation for approval or a request for noting after that sitting. And 3, that the cost analysis of the proposed appointments and a detailed plan to address the 67% vacancy rate be provided. Speaker, we cannot in good conscience endorse the item without the necessary oversight and accountability measures in place. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor De Hayes. The second board.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. We stand before you today to discuss matter of great importance to our community and our people. The Centlec microstructure has been a topic discussed for some time now. And as the EFF, we believe that it is essential to address the importance of microstructure redesign. Firstly, let us commend the Centlec for their outstanding performance this year. Despite the challenges they faced, including the absence of board of directors for an extended period, they have been demonstrating a remarkable resilience and dedication to their work. As the EFF, we have confidence in the Centlec ability to deliver, and we believe that with the right support and guidance, they can achieve even greater heights. Therefore, we believe that a microstructure redesign is essential to ensure that Centlec is equipped to meet the needs of the municipality. The redesign must prioritize transparency, accountability, and efficiency, and must ensure that the entity is able to deliver on its mandate to provide reliable, affordable electricity to our people. As the EFF, we are committed to support Centlec in the process. We believe that with the right support and guidance, Centlec can become a model of excellence in the municipal electricity distribution. We will work closely with the entity to ensure that the microstructure redesign is done in a manner that prioritizes the needs of our people and promote economic freedom. In conclusion, Speaker, the importance of microstructure redesign for the Centlec cannot be overstated. Therefore, as the EFF, we have confidence in the Centlec ability to deliver, and we are committed to support them in the process. We believe that with the right support and guidance, Centlec can become a shining example of what can be achieved when they prioritize transparency and accountability and efficiency. We therefore will support this item, although it was for noting. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you. Councillor Sokaga.
Thank you, Speaker. Really, it has been a long road for Centlec to be where it is today, because the structure, Speaker, was last revised in 2014. So it tells you that there is abnormal situation there. Today, we are here to correct that abnormal situation to get things right. And this document, it had life of its own, where proper consultation was done with organized labor, which all agreed in the LLF that the document is fine, we can go ahead. However, Speaker, I want to put to make the following proposals on the recommendation. One is that it must read as follows: that the executive mayor table the revised Centlec organizational microstructure to council for approval. That's number one. Number two, implementation of the revised structure is crucial in addressing reoccurrence, AGSA audit finding, and the high vacancy rate, and ensure Centlec long-term sustainability. On the main document, Speaker, there is a last sentence there that says, "Thank you for your prompt attention to this matter. We request that it be removed." Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Rambil.
Thank you, Speaker. Thank you, fellow colleagues. All I wanted to say was to second the proposal of Councillor Kronje. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Tugula.
Thank you, Speaker. I second the proposal that was made by MMC Vose. So
Thank you. Councillors, can I now see hands of the proposal, the first proposal by Councillor Kronje, that the item be deferred back to the relevant Section 80 committee. That proposal has been seconded. Can I now see hands of those who are in favor of that? Thank you. Those who are against the proposal to defer the matter back. Thank you. Any abstentions? Okay, those in favor is 22. Those against is 52. 0 abstentions. May I now see hands of those, because the item has been rephrased, is no longer for noting, it's for approval. Can I see hands of those in favor of the recommendations as read out by Councillor Sokaga? Thank you. Those against that proposal? Okay. Thank you. Any abstentions? Thank you. Those in favor is 52, those against is 20, abstentions is 5. The item will be carried as it is with their recommendations. May we now proceed to item 4, Spatial Development Framework Review 2024-2025 and the process plan. I want to acknowledge hands of those who would want to speak on this item. Councillor Bauer, Councillor Makau, Councillor Nhlapu, in that order. Thank you. Go ahead, Councillor.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, and House at large, and community. We, as the DA, we approve or not approve, we support the item as it is. However, with the minor changes and amendments that we would also like to make in the item, or recommendations, if I may say that. We take note that the recommendation said it's for noting, and also the public participation will be in line with the IDP. We also just like that the public participation be mindful that, however, it is critical that the draft that is issued for public participation should either contain a schedule of amendments or the whole document must be issued with track changes indicated, removals or additions. Furthermore, we also would like to inform, or, and as per discussion in our committee session, that the times and the dates of the public participation sessions should be amended and also be made more. For example, areas such as Botshabelo, which is quite vast and a large population size, so not everybody will be able to attend on the 5th of February. We don't know which venue will accommodate everybody in that area, as well as that of Tabanshu and the Wetsdorp. And then also clarity on the areas such as Bloemfontein mentioned in here. Some of the wards should be outlined clearly, that which ward will fall in which area and on what date. As well, we would like to request that the times be changed to that fitting the community, because we know that we see some of these sessions will take place at 10 o'clock, 2 o'clock, and the latest is 3 o'clock the afternoon, of which the changes and affected sessions will affect the people that are at work. So we would like this session's times to be changed to that suit the public as well, so that they can be heard in their interest. Thank you, Speaker.
Go ahead, Councillor.
Honorable Speaker, honorable councillors. Today we are discussing a critical aspect of of municipal development. The Special Framework Development Review 2020-2025. This review is a crucial step towards creating a more suitable, equitable, prosperous future for our community. As we embark on this review, it is essential to acknowledge that the legislative framework that guides our action, Section 35 of the Municipal System Act 2000, require municipality developed and implement a special development framework. This framework must align with the municipality integrated development plan and special development framework. Our IDP, which is 5 years plan, outline our municipality vision, goal, objective. The SDF, on the other hand, provides a special expression of our municipality development vision. identify areas of high conservation value, areas of agricultural development. As we view our special framework, we must also consider the provision of Section 4 and 11 of Mangaung Special Land Use Bylaws. This section emphasizes the importance of land use management and the need of balanced competing interests. The Special Framework Development Review 2024-2025 is a critical process that requires the active participation of all stakeholders. In line with the requirement of Section 35 of the Municipal System Act, we must be embarking on a 30 days public participation process from February to April 2025. During this period, we must engage with various stakeholders, including ward committees, community-based organizations, and the general public. We will also make use of various communication channels, including social media, print media, and public meetings. The purpose of this public participation process is to ensure that our special framework reflects the needs as inspiration of our community. We want to hear our view on how we can create a more suitable, equitable, prosperity future for our municipality. In conclusion, Speaker, the Special Framework Development Review 2024-2025 is a critical process that requires our collective efforts and participation. We use all stakeholders to take an active role in this process to provide us with our viable inputs. Together, let us create a special framework that reflects our shared vision for a better future. We support this item fully in consideration of our recommendations. I thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, Councillor Makau. Councillor Sapu.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Greetings, Deputy Mayor, Chief Whip. I think the item is quite straightforward, just for purposes of the residents of Mangaung in understanding what it is about. We are reviewing our spatial development framework. What does it mean for them? It means the public meetings that we are stipulating and asking them that they get involved with. It is mostly on the strategic vision of land, spatial development in terms of land in the city. So in all our different wards, there are people that would want to develop in certain spaces. There are rezonings that we've received applications for. You'll see also in our MPT reports the spatial economy in terms of what people want to do in their residentials and the economy in which they want to. So those are the things that would need the residents of Mangaung to please ensure that they attend these public participations for that specific public participation aspect. Now, I think with the recommendations that have been put when we said that the second recommendation that it be clustered in the way IGP would in terms of what the recommendations that the Councillor Bauer is putting are actually more operational on that, because the schedule that is before us at that time, it didn't include the recommendation where we wanted it to be more cluster with what, so that there's more public participation. So that operationally, and the times, which at least in a day we had agreed that instead of having one meeting in Botshabelo, if there are 5 clusters in Botshabelo, then they provide dates, but we would know on this day it's still Botshabelo, but it will be different halls that councillors would have agreed on, so that it increases the participation. But Speaker, for this item is for noting, but as the African National Congress,
would highly recommend and encourage our people to come in numbers. I think we'll also publish the dates up towards the public participation, because they must have a say in terms of how we plan and develop the land in the city. Yalebo.
Thank you, Councillor Nhlapo. This brings us to the end of the debate on this item. Thank you as well for responding to the recommendations made by Councillor Cronje. The item stands noted with all the comments, recommendations, and proposals raised. May I now step off this item and proceed to item 5 and 6, which is one item. Can I see hands of councillors who would want to speak on this item? Councillor Martins, Councillor Sibulao, and Councillor Nhlapo, in that order. Or Councillor Mabena. In that order, thank you. Yeah, I can see we are cruising nicely. By lunch, we will be done with the meeting. I can see that your minds are on upper limits, Councillor. Okay, Councillor, proceed, Councillor Sibulao.
Honorable Speaker, let us discuss a critical aspect. Let us discuss a critical aspect of municipal planning and development. Section 54 of the Municipal Planning Tribunal, in conjunction with the 108 Land Use Management Bylaw of Mangaung, plays a vital role in shaping the future of our municipality. The Municipal Planning Tribunal is responsible for releasing land for various uses, including residential, commercial, and industrial purposes. The process has both pros and cons, which we would like to highlight today. On the one hand, the release of land for development can have numerous benefits. It can stimulate economic growth, create jobs, and provide much-needed housing and infrastructure. Additionally, it can help to revitalize unutilized or direct areas, making them more attractive and vibrant. However, on the other hand, there are also potential drawbacks to consider. The release of land for development can lead to urban sprawl, increased traffic congestion, and strain on existing infrastructure. It can also result in the displacement of existing communities, loss of biodiversity, and environmental degradation. Furthermore, the 101 Land Use Management Bylaw of Mangaung emphasizes the importance of responsible and sustainable land use practice. It requires that development application be evaluated based on the potential impact of the environment, social structure, and economic viability. As we move forward, it is essential that we strike balance between economic development and environmental sustainability. We must ensure that the release of land for development is done in a responsible and transparent manner, taking into account the needs and concerns of all stakeholders. In conclusion, the Municipal Planning Tribunal and the 108 Land Use Management Bylaw of Mangaung play a critical role in shaping the future of the municipality. As we navigate the complex process of land release and development, let us prioritize responsible and sustainable practices, ensuring that our decision benefits not only our economy but also the environment and our communities. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councillor Sibulao. Councillor Martins.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. Thank you to the House for allowing me. I'll be very brief. Firstly, just a clarifying question. Maybe MMC Nhlapo can just clarify for us. When we were in council, there was an item also tabled as number 7.5 with regards to a land swap I'm not sure why it's not also serving this today, but it's just for clarity's sake. And then secondly, I'm asking a question to the House at large and to the municipality, and that is, what else do you want to happen in the metro before you consider that our infrastructure cannot support all the developments we are trying to do? That's all I'm asking. It's a difficult question. We are using, and I'm speaking under correction, the Mangaung Master Plan for Infrastructure dated 2009. I'm finishing off the question. Isn't it perhaps the time to revise that master plan? Thank you, Honourable Speaker.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Mabena.
No. Let me speak on the two items that were clapped together. A report on the development of process by the Mangaung Planning Tribunal, MPT, March 2024 to June, and also the one from July 2024 to September. When you go down and read your spatial development plan, it is contained in that framework of the municipality. How do you begin to apply for the land use? And also the works of the tribunal. Here the report stipulates the processes that were followed. So to say, applications that were approved and applications that were not approved in that regard. It was also state, if you understand, if you don't approve the application, there might be some other reasons as stipulated in the special development framework. And also, when going further, within that particular report, it will indicate Municipal Planning Tribunal sittings from August 2023 to June. That's the first one. It will tell you number of received applications and also number of the approved applications and not approved. And there were those who were deferred back. Then therefore, as the ANC, we are saying we take note of these two reports as a true reflection of what happened in those quarters. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Veteran Mabena. Councillor Nhlapo.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Mine is I just wanted to respond to the question from Councillor Martins, the direct question. I think from the human settlement side, our role was the land swap. And upon going through the item, we just needed the traffic impact study so that by that time we have it, the item will be fit enough to serve for the land swap. And we've actually wanted technical services to also satisfy itself with certain things. So once it gets to the two joint sittings, then it will definitely come and serve in council. It's not a problem. Thank you.
Thank you, councillors. This brings us to the end of the debates on this item 5 and 6. The items are accordingly noted as such. This also brings us to the end of the items of the Executive Mayor. May I now proceed to items on the reports of the Speaker. Item 1 and 2 is one item. Can I see hands of those who want to speak on this item? Councillor Kotze, Councillor Davis.
Number 1 and 2 was not combined. We keep them separate.
Okay, we will maintain the message as two separate items. Can I see hands of those who want to speak on the first item? Councillor Kotze, Councillor Tladi. Thank you, in that order.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The Democratic Alliance takes note of the recent benchmarking trip to Buffalo City because the Ram Fisher building has a lot of room for improvement. As stewards of public resources, it is our duty to ensure that every expenditure is both justified and beneficial to our community. In reviewing the benchmarking trip, there are significant gaps in the information provided, specifically around the cost incurred. I will refer these questions as Route 30H. What was the total cost of this benchmarking? Can we have a detailed breakdown of expenses? A total of 21 participants took part. How much was the cost per participant? Which budget vote was used for this trip? And very important, was a cost-benefit analysis conducted to justify this trip? To conclude, Mr. Speaker, I quote the following published on the Buffalo City's Facebook page, informing residents about the benchmarking visit by Mangaung Metro from the 3rd to the 4th of October. The head of corporate services, Mr. Dumas, stated, the Metro is currently looking into reviewing the Section 80 terms of reference. Other committees have the annual plans in place, chaired by various chairpersons and committees, which meet quarterly or fortnightly and consist of 10 members each. My question is directed to the MMC for motions and petitions. Since 2021, how many meetings have been scheduled? The answer is regrettably none. The DA has submitted motions to be tabled, and Councillor Rousseau Botha, may his soul rest in peace, submitted a petition regarding the reservoir in Palisia. When do you plan to schedule a meeting to address these critical issues, Councillor Muraki? Residents of Mangaung continue to suffer from a lack of water supply during this heat wave, with more challenges expected as summer progresses. MMC of Engineering and Infrastructure, my colleague Councillor Selmay Pretorius, has repeatedly requested an urgent Section 80 committee meeting to address this crisis to find solutions. Yet you ignore all her calls, and shockingly only one such meeting has been held this entire year. You should both be ashamed of drawing salaries while failing to fulfill your responsibilities. This negligence is unacceptable. Thank you.
And you, Councillor, may I draw your attention to Rule 31, the relevance, because a number of issues that we have brought to the attention of the House are not relevant to the report at hand. However, we will take note of what you said, that you will submit a Rule 38. Councillor Tladi.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Benchmarking between municipalities is a vital process that fosters innovation, encourages accountability, promotes equitable resource distribution, and strengthens community relations. By learning from the success and failures of others in the local municipal government, can implement evidence-based policies that can significantly improve the quality of life for their residents. As municipalities continue to face complex challenges, the importance of benchmarking can be overstated. Local government must engage in these practices not only for their own benefit, but also for the greater good of their communities. Honorable Speaker, it was the decision of the committee to go and do this exercise of benchmarking because we were busy with developing our policies, and when we write to Buffalo City, our point was to learn from them in terms of, number one, training and capacity building for councillors, number two, councillor burial policy, number three, petition and management policy, terms of reference for MPEC, terms of reference for ethics committee, terms of reference for social facilitation committee, terms of reference for rules committee. Honorable Speaker, yes, indeed, we have learned a lot from this trip. In our next item that we are going to present as this committee, the one for capacity building for councillors, we have taken a lot from this building, capacity building for councillors. And we have a request as well, Honorable Speaker, from the chairperson of MPEC, he wants to go and do benchmarking in Canada. So I think as this council, we should allow that committee to go to Canada and learn from their bad or good practices. And when they come back, they should report to this council, because previously committees and councillors will go and do benchmarking, but there was never a report.
All right, Councillor Tadi.
Honorable Speaker, I hear nicely what that MMC said now. Or what is he? Chairperson said about Canada. If the municipality have money for Canada and we can't even support with service delivery in the whole Mangaung, then I don't know where does that money come to go to Canada. Salute.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. This item is for noting. Thank you.
Thank you, councillors. This brings us to the end of the debate on this item. Since the item was for noting, it will be noted as such. Councillor Kotze, you are free to submit your Rule 38 questions on matters that we have raised. Thank you. May we now proceed to item 2, report on the development, approval and implementation of one internal policy for councillors and political staff training capacity building policy framework. Can I see hands of councillors who would want to speak on this item? Councillor Van Noord, Councillor Snyman, and Councillor Tladi, in that order.
Speaker,
proceed, Councillor.
Speaker, yeah, can I just request please to go second? I'm just going to second what Councillor
It's
is going
fine.
to speak.
Councillor Snyman.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, honourable members of the House, residents at home. The DA caucus believes that the Mangaung Metro truly needs this policy to be approved by this House. As is clearly seen in every council meeting with reports from various officers and committees, all the benchmarking that is required in various other municipalities, and the numerous crises we are facing at this moment, worst one of all being the water. We also believe that the broad policy is adequate to achieve the goals it has set out to achieve and will satisfy the need for councillors and political staff to enhance themselves with further training and education. That being said, we unfortunately cannot approve this policy in its current state, and thus we are recommending that it be sent back for some changes to ensure the policy is of the required standard for councillors and political staff of this metro to benefit as intended. We recommend the following changes to the policy. Firstly, set targets within the policy that clearly indicate what the minimum number of staff and or councillors that receive the assistance should be for this endeavour to be considered a success annually. Point 9.3 in the policy stipulates that the Speaker and the Chair of the Section 79 Committee will be responsible for doing assessments of competencies, work performance and training needs of councillors and staff. We believe that this is a mistake and that a third party that is qualified and specialises in the field should be responsible for this task. Point 9.4 stipulates that the Speaker and the Section 79 Chairperson are responsible to report to the House annually. However, point 19.1 stipulates the report to be biannually. This just causes confusion and might cause unnecessary friction within Council and Committee. We would recommend just doing the biannual reporting for the policy. Point 11.3.1 indicates that only the Speaker has the authority to approve an application. This puts all the power in a single individual's hands and will directly clash against the policy's intention of being fair and transparent. We recommend establishing an approval body or committee to ensure fair approvals or rejections for all applicants. This will also ensure a faster turnaround time, a time frame which is not stipulated anywhere within the policy. Point 12.1, bullet 2, stipulates that internal training will be needs-driven. The Metro's responsibility is to prevent a crisis, not react when it's already too late. Thus, we recommend that this approach should be changed. The internal training should be focused on preventing issues and the need for a certain type of skill to be developed of urgency. If the training systems are needs-driven, we will wait for the need to arise, i.e., the need for water. Then start planning the training program or planning a patch system that is only a solution to pretend the ANC knows how to govern. And then finally work out the costs and timelines, or fail and ask for help to get water. Meaning by the time training has been completed and mastered, the issue that caused the need would have evolved into a full-blown crisis and will require different skills to be resolved. As mentioned, this can clearly be seen with the current water crisis we are facing. Point 13.5 is possibly a little harsh in our opinion. Very good for the budget, but still a little harsh. This point stipulates that if a councillor or staff member fails their approved and supported course due to negligence or a situation that is their own fault, however that it might not have been in their control, their employment will be terminated. But point 16.5 stipulates that if a council or staff member fails the course due to a lack of capacity for the course, they can just apply the following year for the same course. Thus, we recommend that if a course is failed due to capacity issues, it should not be considered again for financial support for that council or staff member, with only a small percentage, 50% or less, of the money to be paid back to the municipality. And if the program is failed due to negligence, then 100% of the money should be paid back to the municipality, and that applicant should be blacklisted from applying for financial support again, instead of terminating their employment outright. These changes will prevent councillors and staff from not applying out of fear of termination if life happens, or punishment for truly attempting and failing. Then just for clarity, point 7.2 stipulates that role-playing positions within the municipality are excluded from this policy. Exactly which positions are
As you
considered...
conclude, Councillor.
Almost done. Thank you, Speaker. Which positions are role-playing positions? Aren't we all role players within this municipality? Then finally, there is no stipulated maximum amount to be spent on training annually. So can we just maybe ask that the policy outlines a maximum amount to be spent on training annually, both internally and externally? In closing, Speaker, I would just like to emphasize the DA is not against this policy. We truly agree that it is necessary for the Metro to improve and better serve the residents of Mangaung as a whole. We are simply asking that our concerns regarding some major but mostly minor issues are addressed to enable us to fully support the written policy and the standards it will be held to. Thank you.
Councillor Swallow. No, Councillor Councillor Van Woord.
Thank you. Yeah, I just want to second the proposal to send it back for those minor changes. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Tladi.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Clearly, this policy, we are late, Honorable Speaker. We started our office 2021. We are now 2024. So that means this should have been done a long time ago. Because of it clearly stipulates that in the upper limits, the municipalities shall develop a policy and budget for that policy. So as councillors, we really need this policy, and it is going to assist a lot of councillors. But I want councillors to go to page 11 of 14, 13.1. The bursary shall be used for payment of registration, examination, tuition cost, if applicable, books and study material. The only thing that was left here is accommodation and the amount for each councillor, which is 50,000 per councillor. And our staff. And as well as in 16.2, the financial support will be limited to registration, tuition fee, and examination fees. All that was outlined in 13.1 should be here in 16.2. Lastly, page 14 of 14, that is closing this policy. The internal policy will be effect from the first day of the calendar month following the date of which council has approved the internal policy. The policy will be reviewed after every 5 years. So that means our policy will be effective from 1 January 2025. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Councillors, this brings us to the end of the debate on this item.
Speaker.
Councillor Fandis.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I support the item of Councillor Motsewa.
Thank you. Councillors, let me first deal with the first proposal by the DA that the matter be deferred back. Can I now see hands of those in favor of that the proposal to refer the matter back for further discussion in the relevant committee? Thank you. Those against? Thank you. Abstentions? Thank you. Those in favor of the proposal to refer the matter back is 24. Those against is 46, and then 5 abstentions. May I now see hands of those in favor of recommendations as read out? With the amendment that was made, can I see hands of? Thank you. Those against the proposal as it is? Abstentions? Thank you. The recommendations will be carried as they are because those in favor is 46, 5 abstentions, and then those against is 5 and abstentions is 24. Recommendations will include the amendment which was supported here. Thank you very much. May we now proceed to the next item, which is item 3. Consideration of review of standing rules and orders and the process plan. Councillor Mokhodu, Councillor Dihayes.
I just want to check with you, Speaker, in your office, as this is our last council for this year, Councillor Adi. Are we having anything prepared for us as honorable councillors of this municipality, Speaker? Because even this water is very hot. Everything is hot in here. So I don't know. Speaker, do we have not council light. Do you have anything prepared for us as this is our last council?
It's hot like a heater. Proceed, Councillor Mokhodu.
No, Speaker. Ke tsoga ke tlhantlhetse ke le mogatla pudi. Ke tsema ke boitumelo, Speaker. As we are about to present to this August House the mandate that we have been given by this council. Speaker, allow me to borrow presentation on protocol. Marun tumelela hore ke dumedise seme segolo sa ntlo ya ketsamolao. My Honorable Chief Whip of the Council. Speaker, allow me to take this August House into confidence and go to page 3 of our report under deliberations. This council is empowered by the Constitution to time and again consider its standing rules and orders and review as it deems fit. Then the committee unanimously set and agree to consider some proposals towards the mandate that were given by this council to review our standing rules and orders. Today, I can say we are proud to present, after a long time, a much awaited proposal to this August House. Some proposals have been there, presented and considered by us as the committee, and I want to iterate again, unanimously. So that means the committee set and agreed. In this regard, these proposals, we agreed as a committee to have an internal submissions by our special councillors, individual councillors, and political parties, so that they can give some inputs and contributions to it. That's why today we are asking Speaker to this August House, after we submit this, to say, allow me to read this sentence. In this regard, the process of consultation, in bracket participation, has to be opened for relevant stakeholders, in this case, individual councillors and political parties in the council, to participate by submitting their comments and inputs so that they can be considered and incorporated into the bylaw under review process. The copy of the draft review version 2024 of the standing rules and orders bylaws for noting is hereinto attached as Annexure A. So on our documents, we do have Annexure A and Annexure B. The committee also recommends that the council consider and approve the review process plan for the bylaw under review. That talks to Annexure B. After the submission of these inputs and comments, in terms of the approved review process plan, the committee will make recommendations to the council to consider and approve the final revised version of the bylaw. Upon approval by the council, the legal services will have to publish, as prescribed in Section 13 of the Municipal Systems Act of 2000, as amended, the adopted amendments so that the amendments can come into operations that is be implemented and enforceable. Now, recommendations, Speaker, are there. 4.1, we request that the council consider and approve the report. 4.2, that the council consider and note the attached copy of the draft review version 2024 of the standing rules and orders bylaw and the amendments thereof made. 4.3, that the council consider and approve the attached copy of the review process plan for participation in brackets consultation purposes by councillors and political parties in council to submit their comments and inputs for the consideration and incorporation into the draft review version 2024 of the standing rules and orders. The Annexure B is clear, Speaker. There's a process plan. We would wish to request individual councillors and political parties to adhere as such. Speaker, ngwaga o ya 15, re batla re le mangana tsigalo phage. Mme ga leboga ke gone mo komiting ye gore Re leboga committee le maloko a teng otlhe go tsa karolo mo go tliseng tokomane e mo kgotlatsamaisong. Mme ra leboga.
Wa itse kgwedi councillor wa itse kgwedi ya Seetebosigo. Thank you, councillor. Anyone who would want to make to undertake a discussion on this item, Councillor Sibulao, Councillor Matsepe, and Councillor Klassen, in that order. Thank you.
Thank you, Speaker. No, Speaker, I wanted to find out from that committee ke ka Setswana. Ke utlwa bua Setswana se se tlhololo mare ha tshwantsa re bolele committee ke ka Setswana why tsenya sekgowa yang ha sa etsa mo sa le tshwantse tsa
Asikhuduthamaga.
Eh, ya ke makaletse committee e tsentse ka to go Setswana gore. No, Speaker, thank you very much. The standing rules and orders of Mangaung municipality are crucial to efficient governance and business operation. Regular review ensures they are relevant, effective, and aligned with the municipality standards and values. The rules are essential for maintaining order, accountability, transparency in governance processes. Regular reviews help adapt to changing community needs, legislative requirements, technological advancement, and emerging best practices. Mangaung municipality must regularly review the standing rules to address emerging issues, ensure accountability and transparency, improve efficiency, and maintain public trust. The municipality must ensure that these rules are aligned with the national and provincial legislation, and that the code of conduct for councillors reflects its values and commitment to ethics and accountability. Additionally, reviewing the rules surrounding public participation council meeting can ensure effective community engagement and meaningful feedback. Failing to review the standing rules can lead to legal and compliance risk, loss of public trust, and efficiency in the governance. Key elements of the standing rules and orders to focus on during the review include meeting procedure and quorum, the code of conduct for councillors and public participation by addressing these issues. Mangaung municipalities,
Order, please, councillors. Thank you. Proceed, councillor.
Mangaung municipality can ensure that municipal ability to function effectively and serve its community better. The longer we delay reviewing these rules, the more entrenched inefficiency can become. The pandemic has highlighted the necessity of using virtual meetings and digital tools in governance. The standing rules of Mangaung municipality must be updated to ensure inclusivity and accessibility. Regular review of these rules is crucial for improving governance, accountability, and effectiveness. Proactively addressing issues and ensuring rules reflect the dynamic needs of the municipality are essential for future success. In conclusion, the EFF would like to propose that the Rule 38 be part of the standing rules and orders. The reason being, it will assist this municipality for officials to be held accountable on time, because we normally write Rule 38 questions, but it takes time for us to get the reply. So we propose that Rule 38 be part of the standing rules and orders. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Councillor Klassen.
Thank you very much, Speaker. Councillors of Mangaung, as well as residents of Mangaung. Speaker, this past week was a real wake-up call for many of us. We've been hearing about the water issue in Bloemfontein. It's in Bloemfontein, it does not really bother us until it was our turn. And the worst part was, we didn't know up until now what's happening to the water. Nobody give us anything, and people ask what is happening. So we'd really appreciate if we can get updates as well into Bantu. Concerning the matter at hand, it's true that we indeed discuss the rules and regulations of the municipality, and we had a lengthy discussion, and the debates were heated at some points, but I can assure you by the end of the day, we had amicable solutions for most of the things that we talked about. There are one or two things which I feel that is very much important that it shouldn't be skipped. I really want us to have a conclusion in terms of our emergency special meetings as to what does it comply of when we say emergency special meetings. Also the fact of the matter that sometimes we receive our hard copies late and sometimes not at all. And it looks like it's business as usual. I think something must be done about that. Somebody has to take responsibility for that, because if we don't receive our hard copies, because some of us are struggling with a link, it enables us to do our work. We can't do our work properly if we don't have the hard copies. So somebody must take accountability for that, for the lack of that we don't receive. Also, the rule our rule 38 questions, which is taking so long, we need to maybe have a time frame in terms of how long should it take for it to be answered, because sometimes it's been answered, but the answers are so vague, it's not even relevant to the question which was stated. That also has to be looked into. And then also the motions, because apparently there's some motions which are still being given to the speaker and it hasn't been brought to the council. Can we at least have also a time frame regarding that in terms of how long should it be with the speaker and when should it be brought to council? And then we had a hiccup in terms of the food issue that we have in council, because by the end of the day, we also get this. And apparently it's not allowed, but we get this. So we still have a hiccup in terms of how we're going to go about it, because whether we like it or not, sometimes we're here for 6 hours. And some people have health issues, so you can't expect a person to sit here for about 6 hours without eating anything. Thank you very much, Speaker.
As you conclude, Councillor. Councillor Matsepe.
No, thank you, Speaker. As I support, Speaker, the recommendations presented by the chair of the committee on rules, and I think, Speaker, the fellow councillor, committee member, I'm sure she would understand that the exercise here, as presented by the chair, including the process plan, is that all these issues that has been raised in this standing rules and orders by law, it is an opportunity for individual councillors and the political party to engage on the draft review bylaw, Speaker. What I want to bring to the attention of the councillors, Speaker, it's on the document, councillors should note that there are new clauses that are put there. On the document, there are amended clauses on the document that are there that councillors should take note of, including, Speaker, but not limited to, the changes on in numbering of certain clauses there. You would see, councillors, when you look into the document, that some number is there, there are changes on numbering, because this is a draft document. That's why you'll see those particular changes, Speaker. Lastly, Speaker, on the process plan, Speaker, the important part that councillors need to look into, it is on the step 4, because once you leave this council, as I said, I support the recommendations by Chair. It means you would have an opportunity to engage on the draft review. Again, when you come back in January in terms of the process plan, where on number 8, step number 4, where the committee will consider the final draft of the review. So you have an opportunity, you submit. Come January, the committee will consider your inputs as submitted, Speaker. so that we are able to bring the final document before this council for the approval, Speaker. I thank you.
Thank you, councillors. This brings us to the end of the debate. No, Councillor Ramil.
So, Speaker,
Councillor.
Yeah, just to get a clarity. You know, DA presented misinformation about the water issue. And I think my fellow or my senior MMC, Tinker Service, he presented clearly what is the problem with water in Mangaung. So it cannot be correct to say, no, there's nothing shared information about the water issue. Thanks.
Councillor Supi, Rule 31, please. We are on the matter at hand. Can we confine our discussions on the matter at hand? Councillor Ramil, I'm not going to allow you. When I requested councillors to raise hands, all of those wanted to speak on this item. It was precisely to give you the opportunity. So I've gone past that stage where I'm taking you hands.
This is just to support all the information that Councillor Klassen proposed.
No, you are late.
Just that.
Councillor Klassen, is that a follow-up?
Always supporting.
I'm covered.
Thank you. Councillors, we have come to the end of the debates on this item because this was a report from a multi-party committee which was effectively setting the motion in order for us to start the process to review the rules and orders. We are not making changes now. We are simply acknowledging the report, but also acknowledging the fact that there's a process plan which will enable us to make inputs in that regard. Can I now see hands of all those in favor of the recommendations as listed on your annexures here? Councillor Sibula, I'm saying other parties might have wanted to make amendments. My take is that we are not making amendments now. We are simply acknowledging the work that has been that was done by the section, the relevant Section 79 committee. Otherwise, if we allow for new additions on it means we are depriving other members or parties of the House to make their contributions. For now, can we deal with the process that has been presented? Thank you. I see we are unanimous here. Thank you very much, councillors. We don't. Councillors, did you? Thank you. Thank you, councillors. Can we now step off this item and move on to the next item? The next item has been noted as such. It dealt with the replacement of the PR councillor. That item was noted in the previous meeting. May we proceed to item 5? I don't know from the Freedom Front who's going to speak. Councillor Dikog.
Thank you, Speaker. As we are grateful for the idea, we must all admit that this will just remain an idea as long as the call centre is not 100% functioning. I'm certain that all my fellow councillors will agree that we as councillors are functioning as the call centre for residents at the Metro. With the current escalating water and electricity issues, we will leave our residents in the dark, dehydrated and dirty. The only way we as councillors can take a well-deserved break will be if the executive can supply residents with a list of numbers they can contact to assist with the day-to-day service delivery emergencies they are faced with. We can also not go on a recess before the Section 80 Committee for Infrastructure does not convene to discuss the current water crisis. If such a list of contact numbers is not available, I'm afraid that most of us will still be serving the needs of our residents on a continuous basis with very little rest to look forward to. Then I want to use the platform to wish our fellow councillors, the officials and municipal employees, and especially our residents, a peaceful festive season. Travel safe if you are traveling, and may the love of God be with you all. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, Councillor de Kok. Councillor Whip.
Yeah, Honorable Speaker, I think
I just want to second the fellow councillor on a speech. Thank you.
Thank you.
and I also second Honorable Speaker on the very same speech. Honorable Speaker, I'm not making any speech. I just wanted to indicate to the House that in terms of the recommendation B, that says it should be noted that during the recess period, no committees, meetings, or hearing, or any other councillors' engagement would be convened. That paragraph, Honorable Speaker, should be removed because the municipality is on the crisis mode at the moment, and we're dealing with a lot of things. So, as the council notes this report, it must do so, noting that from time to time there would be urgent issues that need to be dealt with. So, this paragraph B need to be removed. Thank you very much, Speaker.
Thank you, Councillor Whip. Councillor de Kok. Thank you, Ken. May I now, we only have one recommendation, that the council grant recess to all councillors commencing from the 17th December 2024 up to 10th January 2025, 16 days in total. That's the only recommendation. Can I see hands of those? No, the item is for noting. It will be noted as such, councillors, with the exclusion of recommendation B. This brings us to the end. Okay, Councillor Davis and Councillor Whip.
Sorry, Mr. Speaker, the recommendations read that the council grant recess. So it's not just for noting.
I'm going to have to suspend the House because you are confusing me. When I wanted you to vote on the matter, there was a section of the House which said is for noting. So there's a direct sabotage. Thank you for bringing that to the attention of the House. We will make the necessary amends. Can I now see hands of those in favor of this recommendation? Councillor Snyman.
Thank you. Councillor de Kok made a recommendation that a list of numbers that can be contacted during emergencies must be made available, and it was seconded. Thank you, sir.
Councillor Whip.
I believed that the issue of the contact list and everything were dealt on during the previous item when we were talking about the date of the 27th and so on. And it was granted indeed. That is why we're saying we agree. The list of all the officials and of the councillors is there, but the officials who be on duty during that time, then telephone numbers and everything would then be submitted to the councillors. We agree on that. And I think we agreed as well in the previous item as well.
Thank you, councillors. I think that matter was correctly dealt with when Councillor Sokaka was leading the discussions on the shifts. May I now see hands of those in favor of the recommendations as stated here? Thank you. The House is unanimous. The item will be carried as such. This brings us to the end of the reports. under the Speaker's office, may we proceed to reports from MPEC. The first item, MPEC report to Council on benchmarking visit to eThekwini. Councillor Makolwane Ndadalihlono.
Motsamaisi wa mosebetsi ke re ke tle ke nyorolle jwalo ka o tjhesa tjena hobane ke la ka bona mohlolo mane mo ke haileng teng kolo di ba taolo mo majakane o ya manga matona a matshehadi se ka mokotatsie ya ba motho wa mono bolawa ke lenyora mme ka hlokomela hore lenyora le kotsi mme ho bohlokwa o nyorolla ha o nyorilwe Honorable Speaker, Executive Mayor and Deputy Mayor, fellow committee members and councillors. Honorable Speaker, I stand before this council to give an account on the recent benchmarking exercise undertaken by the Municipal Public Accounts Committee, known as MPEC. The benchmark visit was between the 15th and the 18th of October 2024 in eThekwini Metro Municipality. In line with Section 41, subsection 1 of the Constitution of the Republic of South Africa, the MPEC has embarked on benchmarking exercise with the purpose of learning on how this municipality conducts its business to ensure, amongst other things, that services are delivered to their residents, upholding of good and clean governance, promoting of accountability, effectiveness in handling matters relating to UIFW expenditures. Honorable Speaker, I must indicate that this was an eye-opening visit, as the MPEC members of Mangaung Metro have learned a lot from our counterparts in eThekwini. Moreover, cooperation and total support of the administrative leadership to MPEC is highly commendable. In simple terms, there is an effective working relationship between MPEC and senior management on matters that require accountability, especially accountability in the use of public funds. Honorable Speaker, let me now take the opportunity to table the MPEC benchmarking report to this House accordingly. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you very much, Councillor Makolwane. May I note hands of those who would want to speak on this item? Councillor Davis, Councillor Sibulau, Councillor Denner, and Council Whip. In that order, thank you. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The eThekwini Metro has dedicated a unit for monitoring and evaluating service delivery to the residents of the city. Residents of Soutpan, De Wetstorp and Wepener will have been without water for 2 weeks today. And between the Metro and Falls Central Water, the buck is passed with no answers on how this crisis that infringes on the constitutional human rights of these residents will be resolved. Christian de Wet School in De Wetstorp is a marking centre for grade 12 final exam papers. 176 assessors from across South Africa are without water at the school currently. What a disgraceful advertisement for Mangaung. Although this report details observations made and lessons learned from the functioning of the eThekwini Municipal Public Account Committee, it is vague on how these will be implemented, especially in light of the Mangaung Metro Municipality still being under a financial recovery plan. And this report is silent on the cost implications. This report does not indicate what the benchmarking session cost, nor what the cost implications will be to implement these recommendations. Through you, Mr. Speaker, as the DA, we have the following questions for the impact chairperson, and we need answers today in council before we can consider voting on this item. Recommendation 8.4, council to consider the establishment of the ethics committee that will comprise of non-executive councillors. Will this committee be a Section 79 committee? If yes, what will the staff complement of this office be? Also, if yes, will this committee must be established in accordance with Section 79 of the Structures Act, and there is no functions, aka terms of reference, included in this report for such a committee. What will the monthly cost implications be of this committee, and why an ethics committee and not a city integrity investigations unit? Recommendation 8.6. Council to consider the establishment of the independent unit that will assist the impact with the investigation of the UIF and W expenditure to enhance the effectiveness of impact in processing these expenditures. What will the composition of this independent unit be? What will the functions, aka terms of reference, of this independent unit be? And what will the monthly cost implications be on this independent unit? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Councillor Sobolau.
Thank you very much, Speaker. I just want to support what the chairperson of MPEC has just presented. I'm surprised that when MPEC present benchmarking, this is not the first time benchmarking is presented in this meeting. Councillor Tladi presented and there were no questions. So I'm asking myself, why would we have questions after the MPEC has presented? And I think all the questions that the DA wants, the chairperson of MPEC has a capacity to can answer all those questions. But the report as is tabled is proper. We support it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councillor Denner.
Thank you, Speaker. As a municipality, we often fail to capitalize on opportunities from visits like this to eThekwini. Time and time again, we've seen instances where these visits result in no tangible outcomes, leaving us with nothing but high expenses and another instance of fruitless and wasteful expenditure. But that being said, the Freedom Front Plus acknowledged that this impact visit has the potential to benefit Mangaung. The recommendations brought back appear to be viable. If they are implemented correctly, they will provide much needed structure and direction, and we approve of that. However, the key question remains, how will Mangaung ensure that these recommendations are implemented seamlessly and effectively? Furthermore, is it possible in the future to explore cost-saving measures with these visits? For example, could we not invite 3 or 4 employees from eThekwini to Mangaung to visit us and share their insights rather than sending all of the HODs and a whole committee down to Durban to visit them? Will that not be more cost-effective for us? Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, Councillor Whip.
Speaker.
I'm sorry, Councillor Whip, let me take
Speaker, just point of clarity. No HODs were part of the benchmarking. Fellow Councillor says all HODs were there. Thank you.
Okay. Noted, Councillor Whip.
Yeah, once more, Honorable Speaker, let me also take this opportunity to welcome the report as submitted by the MPEC, and really want to indicate that the processes of benchmarking, like some councillors have indicated, are much very good in terms of learning the best practices as an institution in order to perfect certain systems that we have to do. And indeed, the benchmarking processes can be done in 2 different ways. It's either we visit a municipality or a municipality visit us. And regardless whether we go or they come, there's still some cost involves, cost implications. However,
Let me take a point of order, Council Whip.
Yes, Honorable Speaker. It's nice to hear what did impact go and learn that side. But I hope they learn not to take any more tenders here with a lot of contractors and start learning to improve our people to come and work here with service delivery. Thank you.
No, that was not a point of order. Is dismissed.
No.
That point is dismissed. Go ahead.
When Honorable Speaker.
Sorry, were you part of the visit? The eThekwini visit? Oh. Okay.
Your member was part.
You know, Honorable Speaker, sometimes when you are used to do things from the back door, you'd always come and steal the moment in terms of raising your own issues. I think the Honorable Councillor was not even here when we started this August House. They had to fire somebody for him to come. So that was not necessarily a point of order. But I just want to indicate, Honorable Speaker, that as we appreciate the report and the recommendations that have been brought by the MPEC in relation to improve our internal systems within the municipality. Learning from your peers is very much important thing. However, Honorable Speaker, I think in relation to also the recommendations that has been brought in front of us, we just have to perfect the internal system, because if you check the recommendation 8.6, it is talking directly with the responsibilities that are performed by the DC board. And then we just have to improve on working our relations with the DC board in terms of strengthening the work that is being done by the MPEC. So there is nothing untoward in relation to the visit that the MPEC has done. We need to applaud them with the good work that they did. At least abatshwanele magwaba ha ba tsamaile ba gutla le ditaba tse ileng hore ba ithutile tsona, mme re batla hore le tshwanele maibana ka mehla le matsatsi ohle e leng hore le ha ho se le ho batla ho monyetsi hobane magwaba ona rata ho itjella diboko jwalo ka the Honorable Councillor ratang ho kena fela a sa tsebe hore na bothata ba hae bo kae, mme ke ne ke re report wena re ananele ka mokgwatsela ileng ka teng. Ke a leboha Speaker.
Thank you. Councillor Makulwane, there's a few questions raised here. May you reply, or you would want to take a Rule 38? Let me acknowledge you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I think I will take Rule 38, but I have considered whatever that was said by Honorable Councillors. I have noted everything, but I think I will take Rule 38. Thanks, Speaker.
Okay, Councillor Davis.
Speaker, just on the one we need an answer now before we can vote on it. The Ethics Committee, is it going to be a Section 79 committee?
All right, Councillor Makulwane, I would want you to respond on this matter. That direct question is relevant because the ethics falls directly under the office by the relevant chairperson on rules. So I think that answer for purposes of this report is much more relevant if we can just give a direct answer to that. Because I wouldn't want the relevant councillor who chairs that committee to ask you that question, whether are you taking away my functions? Because the ethical conduct of councillors is really located within that office. You may reply to others through a Rule 38, but this one, I think you may reply in brief just on this direct one. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Speaker. As I've said, or as I've mentioned, that I have considered the advices from honorable councillors. Remember, these recommendations are not my recommendations. These are the recommendations of the committee of the MPEC. So I think members of the MPEC who are present in this council, we will have to sit down and consider whatever what Councillor Davis asked us, and then see what we can see, Honorable Speaker. That is my humble plea to you and Honorable Councillor Davis.
Councillors, I'm going to make a ruling, and this ruling is informed of the fact that some functions are located in other offices. So let us just be too circumspect when it comes to the creation of another Section 79 committee, which carries the potential to render another committee dysfunctional. I think that best answers your question, Councillor Davis. I really understand what you wanted us to clarify, whether we're creating an additional committee or are we taking the functions of another committee to another committee. I think my ruling is that let the MPEC investigate that further on the basis of this advice, that matters that deals with the ethical conduct of councillors are located in another office. Can I now, not because the matter was only brought to this house for noting, you want to make a follow-up? Okay, go ahead.
Mr. Speaker, it is only for noting, but certain of the recommendations, for instance, recommendation 8.4, asks Council to establish the Ethics Committee. So can we then just remove recommendation 8.4 from the report for now? And then also recommendation 8.6, Council to consider the establishment of the independent unit. So that's two things that in Council we now need to consider and vote on, are we going to establish them? So can we then just remove recommendation 8.4 and 8.6 for now until impact can come back to Council?
Anyone from the committee would like to, Council Whip?
Yeah, Honorable Speaker, I hear what Councillor Davis is saying in relation to the two recommendations, and subsequently in relation to what the Speaker has also indicated. I think instead of removing the two recommendations, the rider that we must go about it should be that in relation to 8.4 and 8.6, because I mean in 8.4, as you correctly indicated, Honorable Speaker, that the Rules Committee, probably it's the semantic around the Ethics Committee and the Rules Committee. I mean in eThekwini they call it like that, Rona, yeah, we call it the Rules Committee. So maybe is to say the MPEC sit down with the Rules Committee in relation to deal with this particular matter. But at the same time, other than removing it, because if we're going to remove it at all, then it means that there's no need for us to be considering that particular matter in the near future. But again, on 8.6 as well, I've already indicated that in terms of the financial misconduct and criminal procedures regulation, we have appointed as the municipality an independent committee that is supposed to be assisting and working together with the MPEC in terms of investigating the UIFNW. And further to that, it means we're saying now, we do have these two committees within the municipality. The only thing that needs to happen is to strengthen the relationship between the MPEC and the Rules Committee in terms of doing their work efficiently. Thank you very much. And I therefore suggest that we accept everything with the rider that says the MPEC must therefore meet with the Rules Committee, but at the same time also strengthen their relationship with the DC board.
Councillors, I think I've exhausted all the discussions on this matter. We have noted the inputs from different councillors. We are also advising the MPEC to consult with another Section 79 committee so that they can, there shouldn't be an overlap of functions. Let me conclude the debates on this item by saying we have noted everything. The item was only brought here for noting. Whilst Councillor Makulwane will also be replying directly to the Rule 38 questions on other substantive matters that have been raised by Councillor Davis. Can I proceed to the next item on our agenda? It's item 2 and 3. It will be dealt with as one item. Councillor Makulwane.
Now, Honorable Speaker, good governance relies to the principle of accountability and transparency when it comes to the public accounts of the municipality. These principles are espoused by one of the strategic objectives of the local government turnaround strategy to build clean, effective, efficient, responsive, and accountable local government. We need to take note that the public hearings are crucial for the Municipal Public Accounts Committee as they enable the public to voice concerns and opinions on municipal finances, fostering transparency and accountability in the use of public funds and enhancing MPEC's understanding of municipality challenges. Speaker, today's report to the Council is to give account on the public hearings held regarding the annual report 2022-2023. The hearings followed the sitting of the Municipal Council held on the 5th of July 2024, wherein the MPEC annual work plan was adopted and senior management was present. Honorable Speaker, the MPEC committee had on the 15th to the 19th of July 2024 embarked on the public hearings process to solicit community inputs on Mangaung Metro Municipality Annual Report 2022-2023. Honorable Speaker, on the 15th of July at 9 o'clock, as the MPEC committee, we visited Van Stad residents. We were in the Van Stad hall, and the community was there, Honorable Speaker. But unfortunately, we were expecting various heads of departments to be present in those community meetings. But unfortunately, they were not there. Honorable Speaker, on the very same day, on the 15th of July, at 12 o'clock, we visited the community of Wepener at Kribing Hall. We expected the head of departments to be present in that community meeting, Unfortunately, again, none of them attended that community meeting. Honorable Speaker, on the 15th of July, again at 3:30, we visited the Westdorp community. We also expected the head of departments from various departments to be present in that community meeting. But unfortunately, none of them attended that meeting. And it must also be noted that all the public participations that were summoned by the MPEC, Sentlek attended all the public participations. It must be noted. Honorable Speaker, on the 16th of July at 11 o'clock, we were here in Bloemfontein, Brandfisher, Indaba Auditorium. The acting CFO did attend that meeting.
As you conclude,
And
Councillor Makulwane.
the head of all the HODs in Swift, Honorable Speaker, they did not honor the community meetings that were called by the MPEC. We therefore propose, Honorable Speaker, for the Council to accept the recommendations, feedback on the community consultation held by Municipal Public Accounts Committee on the 2022-2023 annual report, and recommendations of Municipal Public Accounts Committee oversight report on the annual report 2022-2023 financial year for Mangaung Metropolitan Municipality, because these ones are for noting, the other one is for approval. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
The community of Van Staden's race wants to hear you say Van Staden's race. No.
Van Staden's race.
Thank you, Councillor Makulwane, for that report. Councillor Sobolau.
No, Chair, it's just a correction to the chairperson. When we were in Bloemfontein, the department that presented there was infrastructure. Revelation was there, and the HOD for Human Settlement, we were told they were busy with the exams, but she was part of the arrangement, just that in the same building they had classes there. Thank you.
Thank you for that correction. Councillors, this brings us to the end of... Okay, Councillor van der Walt.
Thank you, Speaker. Speaker, the tabling of this overdue oversight report is critical for assessing our municipality's governance and financial management. While the report reflects efforts to fulfill Impact's oversight mandate, it also reveals persistent and troubling gaps that demand our immediate attention. The financial recovery plan remains a cornerstone of Mangaung's turnaround strategy. Yes, this report highlights the significant non-compliance with its timelines and objectives. Critical updates on the plan's progress, the SDBIP and the audit action plan were either delayed or inadequately presented to Impact. This lack of accountability undermines not only the effectiveness of oversight, but also the credibility of council. Speaker, the residents of Mangaung are the ultimate victims of this inefficiency. Service delivery continues to deteriorate, while we as the elected representatives struggle to ensure accountability. Refuse collection is sporadic, roads are riddled with potholes and housing backlogs persist, all while financial mismanagement deepens. In this report, inputs from community members during public hearings are rife with water-related issues, and the current water crisis in Mangaung is a recurring issue. What we see here
Councillor
after
van der
year-
Walt, there's a point of order over there.
I'm not sure, Speaker, the committee member, what is he trying to do? Unfortunately, he is a committee member of MPEC, and he's raising issues that are far-fetched from the report. And I think it is not a good way to put things through the window. If there are issues, he knows we engage in MPEC, we do our work effectively as MPEC committee. But what he's talking about, Speaker, it is not reflected in the report. Thank you.
What are you trying to do, Councillor?
Thank you, Speaker. No, I can assure you that service delivery is addressed in the oversight report and in the annual report of Mangaung. Year after year, the same concerns are raised and recommendations made, and it seems that to the uncaring and unfailing ANC Metro, they are not even worth the paper they are written on. It seems the uncaring and unfailing ANC-run Metro believes if they just ignore it, it will go away. Sorry to disappoint you, but the problems are yet to
Councillor,
stay.
there's a point of order.
Baba, wa bona wa ke mokhabela mohlena da Emmanuel. Mokhabela tsona tse. I think Councillor Matsepe has already explained, Speaker. The let's have a seat in our meeting. And this is, I like it now because he's doing it exactly when the community is watching. This is how he acts. This is how he is, even in the MPEC meeting. When you go this direction, he goes that direction, alone. When you pull him back, then he tries to get,
Councillor van der Walt, let me take the councillors. I'll
Are you
get back
speaking
to
a
you
second
just-
time now?
It's none of your business. This is a different matter. Speaker, I mean, it can't be correct that a member of MPEC come here and grandstand because there are cameras, communities are looking at us. He has a platform where he's supposed to raise these things. And he's forever defeated in the meeting. Now he's taking this advantage of exposing what he's supposed to have exposed in the meeting. The chairperson presented the report, and in our meeting, we all agree that whatever is going to be presented, when it comes here, we are going to support it. Any difference, it has to be ironed out in the meeting because it's a closed meeting. So I don't understand what this gentleman is doing here. What is he trying to achieve? Maybe he can explain himself, but I would want you, Speaker, to refer him to MPEC committee meeting. We can have a special meeting on Tuesday and come and iron out these things. Thank you very much.
All right, let me.
Point of order.
Okay, let me take a point of order. Councillor Kotze, you'll be followed by Councillor Davis.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Just to defend Councillor van der Walt, he was not at the last impact meeting, so he didn't have the opportunity to raise the concerns.
Okay, councillors, order please. No, let me finish this point of order. I can't take another point of order before I conclude, Councillor.
Mr. Speaker, Councillor, kan say it.
Councillors, please.
Because he was not in attendance, I requested the impact chairperson if I can attend as an observer. And these issues were raised in that committee meeting. So the most important here is Councillor van der Walt is a representative of the community, not just of the DA. So please stop.
Councillors, order. Can I allow the councillor to finish his point of order, please? Conclude, councillor.
He has the right to speak his mind. He has the right to freedom of speech. So please, let him continue.
Thank you. I've noted that, Councillor Davis.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I just think it's very unfair for people to say just because Councillor van der Walt is part of MPAC, he cannot speak on this item. At the end of the day, MPAC remains a committee of council. And MPAC is now here in council to report back to council. And in any case, these documents will now become public. It's open now to the public. And everything that Councillor, he's not attacking MPAC. It feels to me all the MPAC members are now feeling he's attacking you. We are agreeing with the report. We are agreeing with what is stated in the report. We are only highlighting the things that's stated in the report. Because if you look at the report, especially the feedback from community consultations, it's in there where the community said to you guys, we don't have water, our refuse isn't removed, etc. So why isn't it allowed to put this out in the public? This is what's stated in this report.
Councillors, I'm going to make a ruling. You were doing fine until you decide to veer off. We had established a procedure earlier on that if an item is for noting, you will simply submit your additional Rule 38 in support of the item. Councillor van der Walt, I had allowed you to speak because you are from that committee, but you spoke for over 4 minutes. And I'm not going to allow you to speak again. I have allowed you to speak because you have a right to a freedom of speech in the House. I'm going to simply ask you to forward your inputs to the relevant chairperson of your committee so that those inputs can be incorporated in the broader presentation of the MPEG. Pardon me if I seem to be suppressing you. I've allowed you really to speak regardless of the fact that you are a member of that committee, but I would allowed you to speak. I want to step off this item, councillors. Councillors, I've noted the councillors who would want to speak, and the last councillor was the council whip.
Yeah, you know, Honorable Speaker, I'm not a Bible man, but I think now that we are almost towards the celebration of the festivities and the Christmas, where all of us, we know that the Christmas day was a day when Jesus Christ was born. And further to that, on his journey to baptism, there was this donkey that he was riding on. It thought that the people loved it, only to realize after Jesus has left, the kids would start now throwing stone at it. But I'm not there. What I just want to say is that we also want to note the 2 reports that has been presented by the MPEG in relation to the public participation processes that they embarked on, and have further noted, especially in relation to recommendation 5.4 on the first report, that they anticipate to meet with the Troika of Mangaung. And I would want to say, on behalf of the Troika of Mangaung, we are looking forward to sit down with the MPEG and iron out any other challenges that the committee might have in the process of executing their responsibilities. Because it should be remembered, or it should be borne in our minds, that in terms of the terms of reference of the MPEG, I think all of us would agree that it is one committee that we cannot even indicate that they represent certain political parties when they are sitting in that particular meeting. They become apolitical, and they only focus on making sure that they play an oversight role in relation to the work of the municipality. And as such, they need to be supported. And indeed, it is unfortunate again, Honorable Speaker, that when we're supposed to be seriously engaging or rather congratulating and noting the report as submitted, we want to politically grandstand in terms of starting to point fingers to other people. But in relation to the second report as well, I would wish to indicate, Honorable Speaker, to say, which is an oversight report. I'd wish to indicate as well to say, the MPEC has done its work. The MPEC has put a lot of energy and effort on these particular issues, and as such, would need to make sure that the MPEC is supported, and I want to say, let this report of the MPEC be especially the oversight report, because the oversight report must be approved by this August House. However, Chair, I just want to raise one issue on recommendation 11.8 in relation to the report of the IPTN that needs to be submitted within 14 days by the city manager. I would just want to caution the MPEC to say, let us afford the processes of the executive mayor that he started in terms of briefing the council from time to time on the development around this particular issue. And nothing, because I believe that if the report that the city manager might submit to the MPEC won't be the same report that would be submitted, that the executive mayor, I'm sure some of the colleagues, they are aware that there is an item that is also a part of the agenda of the council in relation to the executive mayor updating the council in relation to the issues of the IPTN. And I was going to say, instead of these recommendation number 11.8, we rather afford the executive mayor the due processes that he needs to do in relation to dealing with the issue of the MPEC and IPTN. Other than that, we support the report of the MPEC wholeheartedly. Thank you very much.
Councillor Davis, let me draw your attention to Rule 32. No, Councillor. Rule 32 states that unless expressly determined, a councillor may not speak more than once on an item. So if your point of clarity is it on the same aspect, but we have spoken more than 2 times on this item. Let me allow you, but I'm just saying it's really getting irritating, honestly, councillors, if we disregard the rules of the House. You may go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I just want to, on what the council whip said on recommendation 4 of 202.2. On recommendation 4, it says that the impact should hold a meeting with Troika. We would just like today to be added and the administrative executive, the city manager, and the HODs. So it should be Troika and the city manager and the HODs to sit with impact.
All right. Is there any seconder to the proposal by Councillor Davis? I will deal with that. The item is a combination of both. It is both an item for noting, but it also requires us to approve. So I am first going to deal with the proposal by Councillor Davis. Can I now see hands first of those who seconds the addition that she has made? Thank you. Those against the addition? Okay. Thank you. Abstentions? Thank you. Those in favor of the addition made by Councillor Davis is 19. Those against is 47. Abstentions is 5. May I now see hands of those who are in favor of the proposal? No, because yes, the item is for noting as well as some approval on certain items. Can I see hands of those in favor of the recommendations as they are?
Speaker.
Sorry.
Uchief Whip amendment kulanto IPTN.
Oh. Yes, there is an amendment that the report should exclude the IPTN process because there is also a report by the executive mayor on the implementation of the IPTN process. It is also forming part of items that will be dealt with in committee. Can I now see hands of those in favor of the proposal, the recommendations together with the amendment made? Thank you. Those against? Abstentions? Thank you. Those in favor is 66. Those against is 5, 0 abstentions. The reports will be carried as they are together with the amendment which was made. Councillors, this brings us to the end of the items. We will now be dealing with reports from the audit committee. There's none. I have in-committee reports. May I now allow the executive mayor to lead the discussion on this matter.
Thank you very much.
Whilst we are doing that, because the matter is in committee, may I ask the media to recuse us, please?